Hi, coaches. Welcome back to Big Drew of the World. We have a chalkboard episode here. Let me make sure. I have a little bit of a reflection issue with my light, but I think we're going to be all right. We're going into the chalkboard issue, talking about empty formation today. And just want to give you all a look at what the benefits are of empty. Our last episode on Tuesday, we talked about Dutch Meyer of TCU fame, and he was running empty as a primary formation in the 40s. And we talked about if you want to get his book, I think it's fairly expensive now. But he wrote a book back in 1952 on spread formation football, was successful with it, and successful running empty as a base formation. He did it a couple different ways. Now, you can run traditional empty, which is what I have drawn up here. You can see as I tilt it up just a little bit so you can see better. Traditional empty, having 3 receivers to one side, 2 receivers to another side. You can also do what he did. One of the first plays I showed you all, if you go back and watch the film on Tuesday, he kept these guys in as 2 wings, and he actually had a 6-man protect. But the difference with this and having a tight end or a running back in is now you're having guys who have to be out in the flats and you clear open the box. Okay? He also grouped guys up into a quad set with almost these wings bunching right here, leaving your backside right wide receiver, sort of playing on an island. In the 1940s, there's a lot you can do and pick on that, and he did a lot with it. Why do I like empty, though? I like empty because we can mess around with a bunch of different things with it. Okay, you can, a lot of times with teams out of empty formations, if you're a spread base, you can see what teams do and adjust to it. With empty, if they have certain principles or rules. One of the rules that I found is actually my first play call as a varsity offensive coordinator. I was head football coach. I did defense for a number of years. Always did offensive line and defense. But, we had a team who defended trips. When I watched on film, this is our first game of the year. They would defend trips this way. They put 2 down here. Boom, boom. I'm making sure I have enough. This guy would be over top, and they played sort of a too-high shell against trips. So I noticed then this guy sort of playing in between right here. This guy going to play over top. This guy going to play over top here. So sort of a 3-high and then 2-high. Sort of a cover 3 look over here and cover 2 look on the backside. First thing I noticed is we have 3 on 2, and they did that repeatedly. One of the things I was able to gauge from it, back then our base formation was 2x2 out of spread. And sometimes we'd come in, if you watch the film from our previous year with our previous offensive coordinator, we'd have those guys lined in as slots, which I didn't like as much. We did it a little bit differently. But one of the things I was able to gauge is they're going to play that 2, okay? So I like coming out of game and empty and just seeing, because teams don't know how to react. Or you come out in the second half and empty when teams don't know how to react to it. Usually early on in that game, teams are going to be used to whatever they've been seeing in practice. So we actually opened up a season. I drew it up for boys. I said, this is what they're going to do when they see single receiver to the backside. They're going to get trips to one way, because we haven't shown empty before. We haven't shown empty on our game, on our scrimmage film, or any of that. First game of the season. Trying to get us a little zoomed in there. First game before, they've never seen empty. Okay, they came out and they did exactly that and gave us 2 on 4 now. So for us, it became simple as block, throw to this guy who's our fast running back, lead up on that safety, and go. And this guy was running like a 4.5, 4.6. He was fast. Okay, so we hit a bubble screen for 78 yards. My first play of offense I called. Okay, We actually ended up scoring it. That game was wild. We won that game 79-54. Wild ball games, I know. So it helped you in the passing game. Another thing I've done out of empty before that I liked. Well, I won't say you did. I did this out of quads. I didn't do this out of empty. I left the tailback in. Okay, why would you leave tailback in, Coach? I did. 4 receivers over here. You know why? Now, what I wish I had done was take my left tackle, put him right there. Take my wide receiver, put him right there. But I did this so I could still run quads and run the ball, and still run basically an empty set and still run the ball. Because I had a defense that manned everybody up right there. So I got 4, and I still left the corner back here. Okay, so now I truly only had, with them, 6 in the box there. Because they still covered the ineligible receiver. Don't know why. If they finally, I think, figured out to put that guy in the middle of the field. But again, I still only had 6 in the box. If I had run quarterback, we'd been money. Some things I've done in the past to play around with empty. The other things I like you can do out of empty, and this is what I got watching Dutch Myers film. If you do like the wing look empty, okay? Let's do that. See the wing trips formation right there, okay? How am I going to have to play this? I'm going to have to take 5 guys out of the box to cover. Let's say my base is a 4-2. Now what the heck am I playing, guys? They're so limited on what you can do with an empty formation there. I mean, what the defense can do. Because you think about it now. There you go. They're so limited on what they can do. Now I have angles here. I like to do a little X stunt right there. X block. Because it gives you 2 guys with angles on guys. And now we're just getting to the outside right here. And we can run sweep. We can run quarterback sweep. Now, Dutch Meyer like to run quarterback sweep. If you want to get a little pin and pull action, I love a little pin and pull. Okay, if we pin and pulled out here, I like that better. Because now we can come down, down, down. You could pin and pull out on that corner. I like doing that, especially if you have a more athletic guard or a tackle to get out there, give you sort of that edge stunt to get out on the edge there. And it becomes almost like Wildcat. Your traditional defenses that like to put 7 men in the box, like against our normal spread, a normal 2x2 spread, we will get we'll get a lot of 3-4 teams around here. I don't know about y'all. We'd love to just put the 52 up. Well, now, and they'll go cover 0. Now, I got to do something with him. I got to be in a 51 box. I'd make a guy miss on a 51 box in the run game. And also, you can coach your different receivers. If you have a box like this, somebody is going to be matched up. And this is what we had a really successful time doing. If you look up at any of my other stuff, I had a really successful time putting my top receivers inside on the slot. Because a lot of times those guys, especially at our level, smaller schools, are going to be outside linebacker types. They're not going to be your best guys in coverage. If they were your best linebackers, you would put them inside. If they were your best cover guys, you would put them at corner. A lot of times those guys aren't going to be best on an island covering. So what ended up happening for them, I got my best receiver running slants and running outs against guys who don't belong on the football field covering them. And, now against this 52 look, we've taken a guy who's not responsible for covering and forced him outside of the box. So that's just a few of the different things you can do with empty. I love empty as a formation. It's made me a better coach, even though I am an offensive line guy. Now what you're going to say, empty, Empty formations means empty protection. You better be able to protect, and that's why you got to teach with your offensive line is we have to, big on big protection. We have to see right now who our threat's going to be, and the quarterback has to understand right now who his hot read's going to be if that guy comes on a blitz. And that's what we need to understand a lot on big protection. For us, out of like this 51 look, it's pretty simple. Everybody man on. If this tack comes, quarterback has to know his hot route. Okay, and that's why I like slants. I love slants. I love crossing routes. Dutch Meyer loved crossing routes. If you can get people across the field, especially in high school football, especially if you're teaching it, my guys out in Texas, my guys down in Florida, my guys coaching 7-8 football, you probably have elite athletes everywhere. We do not. Okay? One of the things my head coach used to say all the time, he used to say if we had 7 football players, we'd win a state championship at the 2A level. And he was about right. Because you find about 7-8 guys play football, and you find about 3 guys who are good enough to fill in a spot. You find enough guys who are good enough to be out there. If you got 11 football players, you should win a state championship in 1A, 2A, 3A level, especially in Virginia. If you have 11 football players on both sides of the ball, you should cruise. Okay? Anyway, coaches, that's all I have for today. I'm still out there as we get ready to start training camps and stuff. If you need help setting up and understanding where your offensive line needs to be, scheduling practice, all that, guys, when I talk about cheap pricing, I'm talking about $10, $20. Okay? I'll set up your practice plans for you for camp. Okay? I'll set up your indie periods for you. What do you want to get done? I'll help you with it. I want to help and consult. And really, I've done some EDD drills in the past and I had one coach reach out and say, how much time do I allot for each one? I want to get up with him individually. I'd like to sit down and talk to some of y'all individually about this stuff where you have questions. That's why I'm doing it. Okay? It's not to make a buck. I'm a teacher. I'm a coach. That's what I do. I do all this stuff because I have fun with it. All right? BigDrillTheWorld@gmail.com if you're interested in that. Until next time, coaches, if you want to win games, you got to put points on the board. If you want to put points on the board, you got to dominate the trenches. If you want to dominate in the trenches, you got to know that Biggs rule the world. I'll see you next time, coaches, as we dive in next week to LaBelle Edwards and BYU.